All right, y'all. Thought long and hard about making this video, and it just had to happen. First off, want to make it clear we're not going after any other content creators. Much respect to Goofy. He's a husband, a father, a man of faith, and I respect that. However, again, we're not targeting him as an individual. He just made the last video. It made me think, and I got to put something out. Simple fact is there's a lot of information out there that I don't think is appropriate for everyone at all levels of play. There's many different play styles, and especially me coming from the free-to-play side of the game, I think a lot of the information gets overlooked, and sometimes there's just advice out there that's bad, not because an individual's being malicious, it's just because they don't understand that style of play. So I'm gonna take a few minutes, bring a couple points out. Hopefully we can get a dialogue going. Let's talk about this. Let's get stuff together, and I'm gonna show you how it gets down the free-to-play way. This might make me the most hated man in the Marvel Strike Force community, but somebody's got to say it. Might as well be me.
The ears make all of the difference.
I find your arguments strewn with gaping defects in logic.
All right, Funk Dr. Spock said it best. So here is my baby account. This account is 2 months old. We are at commander level 66, and we're just going to counter some of the points that were brought out. First up, we're going to talk about power cores. What's reasonable? What can a free-to-play player, especially beginner, realistically get a hold of in the early part of the game? Through your daily objectives, you're going to get 50 power cores. I know there's 10 lit up right there, but through the entirety of your daily objectives, you're going to get 50 power cores. This is my current placement in Arena, 221. So in that bracket, I'm going to receive 100 power cores at payout. And we acknowledge that this is the variable option. This is the part that can change depending on where you place in the game. More on that in a little bit. As you make your way through every day, the Save the World milestones, by spending your campaign energy, you will receive 75 power cores. This is the Golden Opportunity milestone. By spending gold for powering up characters and whatnot, you receive 50 power cores every day. So at this point, at my 2-month-old baby account, I receive 275 power cores. So generally speaking, if you're including regular campaign energy and ISO energy, you're going to spend 400 power cores refreshing both those styles of energy. However, we also need to keep in mind that throughout your dailies, you get a free refresh. So in reality, between the two, you're only spending 300 energy. So at this point in the game, I have a net negative of 25 power cores. This is obviously the monthly event calendar, and for February, there's 725 cores available. Throughout the month, obviously, this will more than make up for that 25 core difference, as well as other things we find in the various monthly milestone events, which generally puts my account at a net positive. So once again, just showing my account, I have 4,500 power cores, and right now at present, this picture was taken on Friday, and right now at present, I have over 5,000 power cores. So just from playing the game, and yes, I refresh my regular energy and my ISO energy because that's what you should be doing at the early part of the game, I have a net positive for power cores that is easily attainable, free to play in the early part of the game. Also too, just coming back to this, I just want to point out that if you're not using any ISO 8 energy, you're just using campaign energy, with that free refresh, you only need 150. You receive 125 a day, which gives you a net positive of 25 power cores. So again, even the early player, no matter where they score on the arena list, should have a net positive for power cores. So while we're on this page, let's go ahead and talk about arena. So where I am in the game right now, I'm getting 550 arena credits. Couple that with the 250 that I'm going to get from doing my dailies, from doing my daily arena attacks. That brings me to 800 arena credits. Yes, that's shy of being able to purchase a character, but as you can see in the upper right hand corner, I have 825 in arena credits. Haven't collected my payout yet. When I do, I'll acquire one of these characters. I am at a net negative deficit. It'll take a while for me to deplete my savings. Then a day or two will go by when I won't be able to purchase a new character. And Then I'll get a 2 days worth of rewards and we'll start back over from there. So generally speaking, this is I can purchase a character every day. It's a deadly farm, 5 shards. It could be better. I would like it to be better, but I can, generally speaking, get 5 shards a day for a character, and that's a better farm than other places you find in the game. Now let's get to the subject of powering up characters. So we're talking about ability materials, training materials, things like that. So again, this is Absorbing Man on the baby account. I think I got him on Friday, and I took this picture on Saturday. So as you can see, he's already level 57 is where we're at. Right now, present day, I got him up to 66, but this was day 1. We were able to bring him up to 57. His abilities are 5, 5, 5, 4. And again, we're just reiterating, this was able to be done right away, day 1 when we unlocked him. Basic attack is at ability level 6, it's ability level 6. Special is at ability level 5, and as you can see, I do have some purple ability materials left over, enough to make that next advancement once I bring the character up to level 66. Ultimate is at ability level 5. Passive is at ability level 4. Now once again, we just want to reiterate, this is a free to play account. It's 2 months old. We get ability materials Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday in the challenges. I'm currently able to place at tier 10, and this is my payout for that. So this here is the Save the World milestone, and please take note of the green streak in the upper left-hand corner. Here, you get your ability materials. If you make sure you just log in every day and spend campaign energy, it's easy to complete this, and you can get your tier 2 and tier 3 materials. So yes, at the bottom left-hand of the screen, you do see the word Dorky, and it is for Dorky Dad. Again, we're not taking shots at content creators. Dorky is the man when it comes to strategy. I'm watching his videos. I think I took one today about how to beat Darkhold. I'm definitely going to be using that in my Crucible today. The dude is a husband and a father, and we're not going to disrespect, because to a kid, your parents are your superheroes. So just like with Goofy, we're not going to disrespect the individual. However, there is a point that needs to be brought to the fore. So Dorky, many times you talked about catch-up mechanics and things like that for new players. A lot of content creators have talked about catch-up mechanics. But then we also say things like, well, we got to get rid of the purples. You can't do that. You can't get rid of the purples. I get it. It doesn't feel good to be playing end game and be getting purple stuff. I have an end game account. I understand that. It doesn't feel good. However, how are the new cats going to catch up if they don't get the materials? So just like the current Blitz event that's going on, you get those character shards for these old characters. Just like, again, we here in the early part of the Destructive Diva milestones, it was all tier 2 and tier 3 ability materials. Maybe you didn't want that. Maybe you thought that it's useless. It's not. It's not for you. If you're an endgame player, this portion of the game is not for you. So perhaps instead of saying get rid of it, maybe we have to say in addition to. So in addition to some of the beginning game gear, can we get some more end game gear? I don't know how we'd work it. I don't know how we would do it, but you got to be mindful that this type of stuff isn't for you. So my new account doesn't have to farm these things, right? I can just throw them on that new character and bring them up. That is a catch-up mechanic. When I can get those character shards for the old characters, it's to help spread my roster out. No, they're not meta. It's not going to make me strong, but now I at least can have a diversified team that I can use in Alliance War, that I can use in Cosmic Crucible. It's not going to be to the same extent, and it shouldn't be to the same extent as a veteran player, but it helps to diversify the account to get more into those game modes. So instead of, again, saying we don't want that stuff, is there another way we could get things done? Before we advocate for change, you got to remember who's coming up behind you. You can't step on the little guy who's coming up behind you. So Goofy, I do agree, we got to keep the resources flowing. Backwards progression isn't something that we want. We want to make sure that there's easy access to those tier 1 and tier 2 abilities as well. So the farm can just keep going, and the newer players can power their characters up. However, by our own admission, there is indeed a break point. So this is my main account. This is Big Gid. I got 100,000 the blues. 200,000 of the purples. So at some point, these resources will become flush. We'll just have them to spare. I don't know when that happens, but if we could slide somehow the new player, I don't know where the break point of that is. If somebody else knows, let's talk about it. But if we can slide the new player to that closer, then it'll be easier to keep people powered up. So now this is where we get into the controversial part of the video. Here's my absorbing man. Once again, we got him unlocked on Friday. He's level 80 and we got him at gear tier 15, day one, no problem. I have plenty of resources left. And as you can see here, I have plenty of training materials left. I could pump him up farther. I'll definitely be ready for the next character. I can bring them to 80 and 15 when they come out. I got 52 million gold just because we've been opening gold orbs. I got 200 gold orbs left in my inventory, and that number is going up. All right, so I had no problem bringing this cat up as soon as we got him. The reason why this is the controversial portion of the video is because, once again, I am a free to play player, right? I put down $5 for 50 character shards. That is what it is. But when it comes to powering up the characters, I don't buy characters and things like that. So if you are someone who is running out, this is just anybody. This is just anybody. If you're running out of gold, if you're running out of training materials, you are doing something wrong. This is not what people want to hear, but this is the reality. I have 2 accounts where I'm not having that problem. So it's not me. And I know I'm not the only one who operates like this. So if you're running out of resources, you're doing something wrong. You're pushing some point of the game too hard. Think about somebody who maybe says, well, I'm going to buy this new car because it gets better gas mileage. Well, are you saving money, especially if you already had a car that is already paid off? Now you got a new car. Yep, you're saving in gas mileage, but now you got a new car note. You got new car insurance and other type of maintenance that goes along with that. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are now saving money. If you want a new car just because you wanted one, that's great. And you deserve it, that's fine. You got the money to put it down, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that you're saving money. Likewise, in this game, I think sometimes we misunderstand, right? There's a oops in the store and people got all those, was it 14s? Was that gear 14s or 15s? But that's only one resource. You didn't buy any gold. You didn't buy any training materials. So you didn't bring all those things up together. There was no farming. Generally speaking, I think when people buy a new character, you're somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks ahead of the free-to-play community. So you need to keep in mind all that farm, 1 or 2 weeks of farming, the different, again, gear, material, training materials. You're just bypassing that. So if you're not going to buy all of it, you're going to be behind. And that's probably why people are saying, I don't have enough gold. And that's probably why people are saying, I don't have enough training materials. Again, I don't have that problem. I got to face, right? If you start facing off against people who are real spenders, right? Them Krakens, them whales who buy all the materials, they have 2 weeks of power on me and there's nothing I can do about it. But if you're just buying the character, people that on my alliance, for example, that just buy the characters, they're not necessarily stronger than I am. They get the characters first, but our TCP stays relatively even. Here's my rebirth team on the baby account. So I was able to unlock them all, free to play, except Agent Venom there. That's neither here nor there, but they're unlocked. We're bringing them up to 66. That's where I'm at right now. Everything is going to go into Absorbing Man. Once I get him maxed out, we go back into the rebirth team. Actually, rebirth is my second priority. So that's after my raid team. Excuse me, after my arena team. But as you can see, I've have plenty of materials. I was able to bring them all up. I'm not falling behind. Here is my rebirth team on my main account. Same deal. We got they're all at level 80. Some of them we bringing up past that here and there. We can get that solved with those. You see, I got the gold. That's not going to be a problem. The point is, once again, okay, didn't get Agent Venom. But the point is, once again, you saw the Absorbing Man. You saw how many materials I have left over. This is the team that I just did before that. So why am I not running out of materials? So I'm just trying to reiterate to the Marvel Strike Force community. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of hollering. There's a lot of whining. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. but you can't play the game like a spender if you're not a spender. So for example, I think about Boylan. Boylan's account comes to mind. He has plenty of power cores. He's able to unlock a character, but he pre-farms his gear and stuff in advance, as well as the month-long events are giving you gear that's tied to the current team. So if you're not doing that, for example, if you're hoarding tons of orbs and you're not opening them, you're just trying to get everything through farming, you're falling behind. You're not going to do it. You got to be selective of when what you're going to keep in reserve, right? If you don't need it, you don't need it. But if you need it, then you need it. So open it, use it, get your characters powered up. I'll be making more videos like this from time to time. Again, it's not to target anybody. It's not to find fault, but there are various levels of play. There are various play styles in the game, and we got to address them all. I don't think that the true free-to-play community is getting the information that's best suited to them. And if we're going to change things, like if we say that this, that, or the other is bad about the game, we can't complain about a bunch of random things. We got to make sure we're complaining about what is truly broken, so that way it can get fixed. And then at the same time, we don't want to fix it just for certain styles of players, and then it breaks something else. It makes it more difficult for other style of players. I'm really curious to hear what you got to say. Let's get this conversation started. Let's get this dialogue open, and let's talk about how you get down and win Marvel Strike Force the free-to-play way.